You know how we do it about this time. It's EME, but guess what? 100 Families is in the house. Woo woo.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
We are opening up tonight with EME, and I am honored to just be a guest here with EME. 100 Families representing Csi County. We have an amazing person here. He has been interviewed with 100 Families, but guess what? EME, they wanted a little piece of the action, so they're going to interview him tonight. We have the Honorable Sheriff Eric Higgins. Woo woo.
How you doing?
We're good.
Man, we good. We
Thank
good,
you for
man.
joining us.
Glad to be here.
Man, we honored to have you, Sheriff. For real.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Honored to be here.
Yeah.
Really.
We was scared to get in contact. We had to try hard.
Wait. I mean, hard to contact me.
Nah, it wasn't hard.
I'm finna say, you got my number.
Once we got rid of the jitterbugs,
Oh, okay.
I said, man, he gonna come for real. So man,
yeah.
we're real honored to have you here, man. This means something to us.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Really.
Yeah, I told him
Yeah,
that you'd be easy to get in contact with.
We had one of the great men in the city on our show. But we really appreciate you coming in and showing out for the EME Woo Woo crew.
Hey, y'all, and he from our Ward 1, man. That's what make it even special. He from our neighborhood.
Oh, he's from the hood.
Yeah, we from the neighborhood. We from the South End.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He one of us.
All right.
That's right.
So this really is an honor and a privilege.
Yeah.
For me.
South
He one of the
End.
good guys.
Okay.
One of the good guys.
We get to watch him, man. We watched him, you know what I'm saying? He be telling us to do right, you know what I'm saying? Then we watched him grow, you know what I'm saying? So we able to, you know what I'm saying, get some good out of what he
That's
did
what's
too.
up.
So he watching us, we watching him.
So would you say he's
Hero.
so he's one of those heroes and
Yeah.
somebody you look
Yeah,
up
he's a
to.
hero. He called a neighborhood
He one of
hero.
those silent role models that people just, they kind of look over a little bit, but they need to pay attention.
Mm.
Right.
That was you.
I appreciate that. Appreciate it.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
He done a lot for a lot of brothers in the neighborhood. He done mentored. He done like Turtle said, he led by example. He didn't talk a lot, he just led and we have to follow. That's what great leaders do. You look at them, you watch them, and they show you with the right way. And we're proud of Sheriff Higgins. We so proud of you, brother. You.
Man, I appreciate it.
That's our
Appreciate it.
chimp.
Appreciate it. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Yep, we gotta give you your roses while you're here.
Hey, when he was chief first. He was chief first before he was sheriff, you know what I
Right.
mean? And then he gave me my first little banners to put in the yard. So when I put him in the yard, I ain't knowing the game. So I don't know people will steal your stuff out your front yard. So
Yeah.
man, they took my homeboy stuff out my front yard. I must have went hood crazy in the neighborhood. I beat on all the dogs. Don't come in my yard, taking nothing up out my yard. I shut my hood down.
Wow. That's interesting. So
Yeah.
Sheriff, tell us, so how did you start in like law enforcement? You know, I'm not trying to take over y'all's show, but
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You got hey,
Yeah,
do what
I'll
you
tell
do.
you. You know, I did not want to be a police officer.
really?
I was going to school at ULR. I was going to school for computer science. And first 2 semesters, I couldn't get a class because you have to take introduction to computer science before you can take anything else. And so I couldn't get the intro class. And so, you know, I want to work, need to get a job, and I'm looking for a job, can't find a job. During this time, one of the guys I graduated with from high school, graduated the year before me, said, he told me he's working at the Little Rock Police Department as a cadet. And he said, yeah, come to work down there. I said, man, I don't want to be no police. I don't want to do that. No, come on, it's a good job. And he kept telling me about it. I kept saying no. And then he comes up to me one day, he says, man, you still looking for a job? I said, I'm still looking for a job. He said, man, I'm telling you, come join the police department. He said, I told him, I don't want to be a police officer. He said, you don't have to. So you turn 21, just quit. I said, okay. So I applied, got the job, and I tried to get another buddy of mine that graduated with me. We both applied together. They hired me. I called my buddies. Hey, man, Patrick, come on down. They're going to hire you. He said, no, I ain't taking that job. So I ended up working there, by myself, but I still wanted to finish school. I had no desire to be a police officer. One of my jobs as a cadet I work in different parts of the office and learning law enforcement, introduce you to law enforcement. And so I'm working in the detective division, and one of my jobs was to go around to the pawn shops, pick up stolen property. And I'd call the owner, return it to the owner. You know, I'd run the property, see if what's stolen, what have you. And so one day I'm returning property to this owner. It's a black gentleman. I wouldn't know him if he walked in the door today. And anyway, gave him his property, and he's walking out the door, and he turns to me and he says, Detective Higgins, he says, I'm gonna have to change the way I think about police officers because of the way you treated me. And I was like, wow. All I did was treat them like my mom and dad taught me. Treat people with respect. Treat them how you want to be treated. And I'll say this, God put on my heart right then and says, Aaron, if you can do this as a cadet at the bottom of the rung, what could you do if you were chief? And so I shared with a couple of detectives I'm working with, I want to be chief down here. So, you'll never be chief down here. That's a waste of time to even think that. So I kept it to myself, but I know what God put on my heart. And so I stayed there and focused to increase my area of influence. Because as a police officer, you know, I can control the way I treat you. But as a sergeant, then I have some control over the officers that work for me. And then as a lieutenant, I have some control over the sergeant and those officers. And so you move up in rank to try to focus on how do we treat people. It's not complicated to treat people with respect. It doesn't matter whether I'm arresting somebody or not, or writing a ticket or not. Nothing changes.
Right.
You know, and how I deal with you and the information I give you. You know, and that's what I tried to do as a police officer. You know, it was important how I treated people. You know, and I got into it because I saw the influence I could have. You know, I hear police officers, and this still goes on, where police officers don't want to work in the neighborhood that they live in, or the city that they live in. And I never understood that.
Right.
Because why is that a problem? You know, I worked the South End.
Right.
I worked the neighborhood. I worked other areas. You know, we made arrests, we did a job. But, you know, I was comfortable with being in, I've been at a grocery store or been at the movie theater and have someone come up to me and say, Officer Higgins, how you doing? I said, I'm fine. How are you? You don't know me, do you? No, I don't. Well, you arrested me. And my first response to them is, well, how did I treat you? I said, oh, you was all right. It's okay. I want to make sure I treated you right. Because who you are and how I treat you doesn't change, because in my role as a police officer, I may have to make an arrest or have to write a ticket. There's no reason for me to treat you any different and walk you through the process, you know, of, hey, this is what's going to happen. You know, even when you're dealing with somebody, you go into a disturbance call and people are upset. Some officers go on those calls and they get upset when you walk in the door and people cussing you out. People are mad.
Right.
People are so mad that they had to call the police. Okay, so I can't come in there upset that you cussing.
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do. I am there to try to resolve the issue.
Right.
What's the issue? What has caused the situation for us to be called?
Mm-hmm.
And I think in law enforcement, if we understand that don't take it personal and understand the role we're in to as peacemakers, to come in and see how do we resolve the issue and create peace. So I got into law enforcement because I realized the impact I can have on law enforcement and how we treat people in the community. And that's been my focus, is trying to be an example of how do we serve our community and serve it well in the role of a police officer, law enforcement officer.
Something you said, Sheriff Higgins, that really touched on me. What you just said is that you gotta have a level head when you go into a situation like that. Because most of the time in our community, we don't even want to call the police in the first place.
Right.
So it gotta be pretty bad if we call the police to handle the situation. So everybody cannot be angry or not level headed. So the police should, like you said, they have to be level headed and man, I'm glad you're on the show, man. You can break it on down for them, man. I'm so happy you're on this show, man. For real.
All right. All right.
Okay, so Turtle had to get ready. Now he's ready because he has on his shades.
Uh-oh, they're gonna turn it. That's the turtle I know.
He has on his Ray-Bans, so he's ready.
That's Turk. That's Turk like that.
Right.
I didn't know that other guy. I didn't know the guy without the shade. I didn't know him.
I gave Mr. Higgins the love. I kept him out for about a good 10, 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
You couldn't do it.
All right.
Yeah. But because of your heart seriously, because of your heart and your passion for people and understanding situations, you've done some innovative things at the sheriff's office. You've done some things that hadn't been done before. You're like really caring, and because of that, can you tell us the things that you're doing that no one's done? This is kind of touching on 100 Families right now, Restore Hope, because he's doing some things. And then I'm not going to ask any more questions. I'm gonna let y'all have y'all show. But, but Cheryl, can you just talk a little bit about some of the things that you've implemented in the county?
Well,
jail?
yeah, in the jail, we have a reentry program, you know, where we are trying to work with the men and women in our facility. I'm gonna tell you to create hope. Because that's what it's about. You talk, restore hope, but it's about hope and helping people understand that you have an opportunity. You can do things differently. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter what circumstance you come from. Is believing that you can do something different, and trying to show them how to do that. And it's not something that I came up with. Just being honest, you know, from working with Paul Chapman and Paul Stevens, with the Exodus Project, and then with Restore Hope, understanding how you can help people, and we can do that at the detention center. You know, we have a 1,210 bed facility. This facility is larger. It's one of the depends on how you look at it. It's the third largest detention facility in the state of Arkansas, and we're a county jail. And so you know, I ran for sheriff because I wanted to address this issue of recidivism in our facility. So we have a reentry program. We people who sign up for the program, we do an interview with them and we bring them into a unit so that everyone in the unit is either at this point now, you're either graduated from our 12-week program, or you're in the 12-week academy program, or you're going to it. So you can create a culture of support, because I know that if I'm trying to do something different and I'm in a unit with people who are always talking negative, that's going to wear me down. And I'm going to give up, you know, and say, what's the point? You know, because people tell me what I can't do. Well, if I can create a culture where everyone in there is trying, you may be discouraged of different situations, phone calls you got, or your court situation. So it may be discouraging, but you have somebody else there that can encourage you. And so we're trying to create that environment in the facility. Right now we have a women's unit and a men's unit. Our goal is that as we can do this more, that we can spread this throughout the facility. I had a young man in our reentry program a couple of weeks ago, and he asked me, I went in there to speak to them, and he said, Sheriff, why don't you have this all over this the detention center?
Mm-hmm.
You need this everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I agree. Give me time.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on what you do, because my success in being able to have a successful reentry program and spreading it throughout the facility depends on the men and women in the program and their success. So I'm asking them to work hard to succeed in their life, and that automatically assists me in spreading the program. So we're working with those individuals. We're trying to have partners like with Restore Hope, because we can't do it all. I'm looking for partners to help, because it's not just the support you need in the facility. You need to support when you leave the facility. And so that's continuing, helping you get in the job, help you if a person stumbles along the way, somebody to pick them up before they end up doing something, coming back into our facility.
So it's like counseling, life coaches or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
People you did.
Right.
So y'all do.
Oh, that's EME then. That's us
That's
right there.
EME.
That's
That's right.
So
That's
we
right.
control the streets. We got the streets on lock. We got everybody positive and going that right direction. So y'all might need to partner up with us right there.
On the real, for real,
Right.
Mac. That's serious. Real talk.
Is it for the person who just going in, or is it for the person who's coming home?
So what we have, I'm trying to touch everybody. Okay, so we have people, currently we have people in the facility who they may be waiting to go to trial. Most of them aren't waiting to go to trial.
Pre-trial people.
Pre-trial people.
Okay.
Some of them are on federal charges.
Oh, so y'all take
Some of
federal
them-
inmates.
Yes. Some of them are they've already been sentenced
Mm.
and they're just waiting to go. Or if you get sentenced and you're in the program, we keep you. What we're looking for people is a change of mindset. If someone's in there and they say, look, I'm tired of this. I want to do something different. I don't know how to do it. I want to do something different. We interview them because we're looking for someone who wants to do something different, regardless of what their circumstances are. And then we try to get them in the program. Now it's a 12-week class.
12 weeks.
We're not where we want to be. The goal is we have a 12-week class that's Monday through Friday, 4 hours a day. And we call it the Csi Academy. And it's CSI is the community focused, safety driven, integrity based.
Right.
That's our focus in the sheriff's department, to be focused on the community. And it's the same thing I want for the detainees and the students in our class. I want them to be focused in the community, understand who their community is. I want them to understand to be safety driven. What are the actions you take that create a safer environment or unsafe environment? And then integrity based. I'm asking you to do what I ask of myself. I want you to do what's right.
Mhm.
So we go through the academy, and the goal is, and of course, it's all about funding. It's all about trying to reach more people, to bring the resources in to provide job training, some skill sets for them, not just about getting a job, but how to keep a job,
Mhm.
and provide that. And then the final phase is where you go to work. The goal is that if you're in
So
this
you find
facility,
them
you're
a
going to be
job.
released. We help you. The goal is to help partner with people to help you find a job.
Okay.
And then if you're going to be released,
So you get work out of it. So
right.
you get work. Do you get education? Is it schooling?
Well,
Anything like that?
one issue we have with our facility, because it's so fluid in the population. Some people may be in a class 6 weeks and bond out. Those who bond out, we ask if they want to come back into the facility, we allow them to come back and finish the classes. But as far as like
me
trying to get
personally,
a
if I was
GED,
to bond out and I was to bond out, I would take the class because I feel like that's something that can be on my resume to
Right.
show that I'm trying to do something productive out here,
Right.
Mhm.
other than
Right.
going back doing the same thing. So
right?
I think
And
that's
we
good.
have people that have come back, into the class and sat through the classes again.
Mhm.
We're trying to work with the courts. Ultimately, what we want is this to be part of a diversion program, so that instead of going to prison or even having a conviction,
Right.
that we can work with the individual. And it's important things about having partners, to having counselors or coaches on the outside to help you, because it's not just, like I said, once you get out and you start working, you're hit with all the pressure
Mhm.
of what goes on in the community. And that's why it's important to go through the classes before you release and have those conversations before you're released about the pressure you're going to have on them, on you. Because there's things that so many people say, when I got out of jail, say, for example, if I was selling drugs,
Right.
I'm not going to sell drugs again. I'm going to get out. I'm going to be with my family. I'm going to take care of my kids. This is
Right.
what I'm going to do. And then they end up coming back because they're trying to do something for their family. The kids need some school start, need to buy the kids something. They do a little something and they end up getting caught.
Right.
Well, they had good intentions because they're trying to do something for the family.
Right.
So we have conversations in class that I teach, I talked about is planting your moral flag. But it's got to be bigger than you. It's bigger than your kids.
It
You're
is.
getting out of jail and staying out. It's got to be bigger than I don't want to go back to jail, because then
Right.
I'm just going to do things
It's not-
that I
not
think I'm
you-
slick, so I don't get caught again.
Right.
Don't get
If
caught.
if it's for my kids, I'll do anything for my kids.
Right.
Right.
If it's for my mom, I'm gonna do anything for them.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
Got to be love,
it-
a value.
Well, it's got, you got to
So-
understand that what you do right now. Like you talk about people watching me.
Mhm.
People are watching you.
Right.
Y'all are role models right now. People are watching you, and they're determining what they will do based on your actions.
Right.
You either justify their actions or you condemn their actions. Meaning, man, y'all out here trying to do the right thing and influence other people to do the right thing. So people are watching you.
Mhm.
If you slip up, you do something a little bit on the side, do a little this, then they're gonna use that to justify their
Yeah,
action.
they can do it
Not
too.
do
They can do it
everything
too.
you do,
Right.
but they're gonna use that excuse
Huh?
to do something else.
Right.
And so you understand, and I'm preaching to the choir, because you're doing this podcast
Mhm.
because you know it's bigger than you.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And so that's what we want the students to understand. It's bigger than you. And if you understand it's bigger than you, then the doing what's right, that planting that moral flag to do what's right is bigger than my kids.
Mhm.
Then when the pressure comes to do something for my kids that's not right, I'm grounded in something else.
That's right.
You know, and so I talk to them about identifying what's on your moral flag and planting your moral flag so that, you know, and I tell them the difference is, you know, you see at a high school or an event, people carrying a flag in and they put this flag in the stands, American flag and in this case, Arkansas flag, and they'll put it on the stand. You see them walk in with the flag,
Right.
you know, and you could, if that, it can be knocked over. You know, you can walk by and bump it and it fall over. But then you see a flag outside that's planted in concrete. And the storm comes and there's wind blowing and you see that flag just waving out there and the pole is leaning. That's when I'm talking about planting your moral flag and doing what's right. That's what I'm talking about. Because see, life is gonna hit you and cause you stress. And it will lean into you and you're wavering, even tethered at the end, but you have not moved.
Come on, preach.
There you go.
So that's what it's about. It's being so planted that even though my kid needs something, I want to buy my kid these new shoes. I want them to have that. I am not going to do what's wrong for the sake of that, because it's bigger than that, because that's what my kid is watching. That's what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And so that's what it's about. So that's what we're trying to teach people, is understand that it's bigger than you.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can help them grasp that, then that's going to help them to understand the pressure. You're going to have pressure. It's going to be out there. You know it. You know it. People, you're going to get out here and you're going to do everything that's right. And people going to talk about you like a dog. Because who do you think you are now?
Yeah.
You can't hang out with us no more. What?
Yep.
Oh, you all that. Okay. And you're going to have that pressure. But you got to be able to withstand that. And so that's why it's got to be bigger than you, because you got to handle that pressure. And that's the important thing of having some brothers around you to help you. Because sometimes that flagpole is leaning. I need somebody to lean with me.
Yeah.
Help me.
Come on now.
You just said
And the doors
Boy,
of the church are now open.
Man, you
Yes,
did that.
offering plate, please.
You did that.
Let the church
You just broke it down. You just broke it down.
Broke it down.
Hey, I can't even say no more.
Okay, now.
Yeah, it's
But
so
do you
true.
gotta be a
It's so
do you have to be a like to get into reentry? What type of how can I say it? What type of person you gotta like to charge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
to get in there.
It depends. You know, generally our location of where it's at, we have to look at the risk factors. You know,
Right.
the things that's
flight risk.
Yeah. You know, we're gonna look at
How
your
dangerous
charges.
he is.
Right. We're
the
gonna
person
we're gonna
is.
look at your charges. We're gonna look at your history. Sometimes I can't let you in the program right now because there's some conflict between you and someone else in the program. If I can get the two of you to sign something saying that we okay with being together, then that's one thing. But now if it's related to charges, if y'all both charge in the same incident, then I'm not gonna be able to put you in the same unit together.
But they can both still take the classes though. Huh? They just can't take them at the same.
Not at the same time.
Right. All right.
You know, but you know, I need more space. I need more. Right now, of course, we're on hold on classes because we had a spike in COVID, so we have to shut down and wait until this passed, and we'll.
Are a
keep
lot of
classes
the people that you getting sign up for the reentry program? Do they got like GEDs and stuff like that? A lot of them, are they missing GEDs and missing education wise?
Most of them have GEDs. We offer GED in the facility,
Right.
so you can be in the class and also take a GED class.
Right. Okay. So it offers GED class.
Yeah.
Any college courses?
We don't offer college courses right now because of the fluctuation of people in the facility. You know, our goal, one of our goals is to be able to do a swap with the Department of Corrections. You know, Pulaski County, you have a lot of people being released from Department of Corrections, Community Corrections, coming to Pulaski County. And there's a lot of resources here, and there's a reason they come. But they're not, a lot of them aren't prepared for all the pressure. And so what we're working on is the ability to do a swap.
Right.
I may have people in our facility that's already convicted and they need bed space, you know, waiting for the state to give them bed space, because we have people sitting in the facility, today we may have 130 folks that's in our facility who are convicted.
Right.
And so when the state says I have a space for someone, they'll call us and we'll transport. So what we want to do is do a swap. So you take 30 men out of our facility or 30 women out of our facility who are convicted, waiting to do their time in state prison. Give me 30 folks who qualify for a reentry program, come to our facility.
Hmm.
So let's slow down your release. Let's take some classes. Let's have some honest conversations, you know, so that you're better prepared for the release. And if we had those folks, then we're better able to partner with, you know, whether it's Arkansas Baptist College, whether it's Shorter College or ULR, whomever, to provide some classes for them so they can continue their education coming out.
What about
So
lawyer?
what
What about lawyer? Like if they need a lawyer.
Well, I mean, we don't get involved in attorneys, but you know, if you have an attorney, of course, attorney gets to deal with the clients. What we encourage our students to do is to let your attorney know what you're doing. Let them know what classes you're in, that you signed up for the reentry program. I can't promise you anything, but your attorney needs to know about it and what you're trying to do to improve yourself. And I will say we have had a couple of students who attorney talked with the judge, and when they finished the 12-week class, they were released out of our facility. So we're hoping that, and that's part of the diversion, and we're hoping to get more of that to happen. But we have to validate what we're doing, because it's not just about wanting to do a good program. We have to have results. So we have to have the data. So each person that's successful, each person that's released, and we partner with whether it's Restore Hope or whatever organization to help them to succeed, then word gets out about that. And that gives us an opportunity to offer more programs, because people are looking for success. And I am not going to have a program just for the sake of having a program.
Right.
I want people to succeed.
That's right.
So what type of career do you guys offer in the reentry program? Like, are there specific jobs that you are, or corporations that you're partnered with that help you with your program, that once they finish the program and are back out on the streets, they can look at a career or look at some kind of employment? What are there different people that you guys use to partner with?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a good question. I'll tell you that COVID really knocked us for a loop last year, because we were working with a company that does welding, and we're working with some ladies. We were on the verge of working with Pulaski Tech to provide some training in welding, and this company was willing to hire these individuals. COVID knocked things out, and we're struggling with funding to be able to pay for those things. But right now we have working with Windsor Door, people who graduate that who are going to get out. They have an opportunity to do an interview with Windsor Door and see if they can get a job there.
Do
We're looking
people
for
know
more
what
partners.
Windsor Door is?
It's
It's like a garage.
Yeah, they're
Fix doors.
Yeah, they fix garages.
they make the garage doors.
Yeah.
I mean, they ship garage doors all over the country.
They accept the people you bring.
Yeah.
Like, come to, see,
But-
that's
but-
good.
but-
I'm asking
yeah.
that because I went to Windsor Door when I first came home. They used to didn't take inmate like that.
Yeah.
You could, it was hard to tell them you've been locked up and get up in there. So I'm telling you, that's a good job and a good place to work.
And let me tell you what
You
what
get good
mentioned
hours.
about, they wouldn't take.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but there's a gentleman been working there for probably 4 or 5 years, and he has a felony record.
Right.
He is the one who's opened the door
Come on.
for other people, because that's what it's about. When we get a job here,
Mhm.
if you have a felony record, you got to understand there's people following you behind you.
Right.
Yeah.
If you
You
go
gotta set
into
example.
I don't care if it's McDonald's, Wendy's,
Mhm.
you need to do the best job you can there, because you want that reference for the next job.
Right.
And there's somebody following behind you that want to take that job, that be happy to go work at Wendy's or McDonald's behind you
Yeah.
and show that they can do the job, because you've gone to this other place. Maybe you've gone to Windsor Door and you working, and Turtle recommend Higgins for Windsor Door. I go apply, they contact, I work for Wendy's, they contact Wendy's. I'm a good employee.
Right.
Right.
I work,
Mhm.
Setting examples.
right, set an example. So you open the door, and that's what I
That's
tell.
what we talked about earlier.
You're
Right.
That's,
People
that's what
watching.
they watch it. So I tell the
Right.
guys and then ladies in the facility now that what they get right now is a whole lot more than what the students were getting in 2019 when we first started.
Mm.
Right.
Why they have more now than then is because of the people that went before them.
That's right.
And so that's what it's about. And so we
That's
hope
right.
to be able to get more businesses involved, getting more training involved. And that's the importance of partnerships. We
Mhm.
can't do it all, but if you're partnering with, if Restore Hope has got some connections for our students, and we can make those connections, and we ensure that they're prepared for those jobs, you know, it opens up the door,
That's right.
you know, and not only for the jobs, but for the judges, for the prosecutor, for
Change
their willingness
policies and-
to work
yeah.
with these individuals.
They can
So, yeah,
change.
Shane Mack,
Trailblazers.
appreciate
You
that.
building trailblazers. You building trailblazers. That's what's up. That's what's up.
I'm
I like
thankful. Like I said, we was talking about it last week about different things for felons and chances, but to know that I haven't been in the county or prison, thank God, for a long time. But to know that y'all got all that is a blessing. I'm
Yeah.
thankful for you. I didn't know you do all that. I'm seeing you around. I gotta shake your hand. man.
Appreciate
God
that.
bless
Appreciate
you.
that. God bless
I
you.
wish a lot of people was like, because you know, it's a lot of guys in the neighborhood. You hear police share, they not knowing got good hearts,
That's
man.
right.
And you looking out for a lot of people, and God
Yeah.
gonna bless you for that.
I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Because a lot of people need that.
That's right.
Getting out of jail, they don't have nothing, going right back to the streets, you're gonna get back in trouble.
Yeah.
You don't
Right.
got no foundation.
Right. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And I want to say this. That's probably ain't the place to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. We are looking to hire folks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, I can't hire a deputy, someone as a deputy who has a felony record. I can't do that. State law doesn't allow me to do that. But we know folks
Right.
who don't have a felony record.
Mhm.
Right.
I need some people who care about people to come to work with me. I'm just
So
throwing it out.
say you like, I got a friend I be trying to push forward into his career,
Mhm.
into this. Like right now he work in the county and he do county work. Is them the same? Like if you a person that work in the county, can you go be police, go be an officer, and then you can work with you, or you can come from the county and work with you? How a person
So-
like that can move up in his ranks?
So he's gonna have to apply.
So
For
you
sheriff's
apply.
office,
Okay.
and encourage him to do that. He can go if he's a county employee or whatever. He can go to county's website and look for a job.
So what kind of position would that be to apply for?
So we have detention deputies
Detention
and we have enforcement deputies.
enforcement.
And then those you can't have a felony record for those jobs.
Yeah.
But we're looking for people like, that's going to understand how you treat people.
Right.
Everything we've been talking about, because that's what you need in a detention facility. You're talking about people being upset out there.
Mm-hmm.
You're not having a good day. You're getting booked into a detention center.
Right.
And so we want to make sure you're still our citizens.
Right.
You're still our community.
Right.
And we need to make sure we have people working there
Right.
that's treating them well.
Yeah.
So we're
So
looking at, yeah, go ahead.
So what's the difference between a sheriff and a police officer? What's the difference?
Sheriff is better.
Oh no.
Nah, I want more than that. I want more
Okay.
in depth.
So-
I want
so-
that.
Unity with that
You
beside.
need a more in-depth answer.
More in
Yeah,
depth.
I
Okay.
need to get
Okay.
more in depth.
So a police officer, a municipal police officer, their authority is given to them by the city.
All right.
And so like a Little Rock police officer, their jurisdiction is in the city of Little Rock.
Okay, city limits. In the city limits.
City limits. Now as a
Okay.
police officer, there's arrests you can make throughout the state as a sworn police officer. But a sheriff, a county sheriff, your jurisdiction is throughout the county.
Throughout your county.
The sheriff of any county is the highest ranking law
Right.
enforcement officer in that
Okay.
county.
That's
So
what
I
I'm
like-
looking for.
So it's
Yeah,
truly
yeah.
like the Western days. Like
Oh, yeah.
you got the sheriff come out, like the
Yeah,
sheriff.
the Wild Wild West.
You know what I'm saying? So it's truly like the Western days.
Right. So I'll tell Little Rock chief a lot of times when I see him, I say, you need to remember, your department is in my county.
Oh, right. You just trying to
Don't
check
do the chief
people
like
for
that,
a
man.
little
That's how I
bit.
got.
I mean, he cool, but that's
Oh,
but
man.
I don't say that
Yeah.
to the colonel with the state police,
Right.
because the colonel can say your county is in my state.
Right.
Right,
So-
right,
Somebody
right.
can say
I'm
it
the
to
big
you.
Right,
dog. Yeah, he can say he's the
Rank,
big dog.
they pull
Pull the
rank in
rank.
the military.
Yeah,
They pull the
yeah.
rank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But,
Law
but we're
enforcement.
the highest, like law enforcement, elected
Mhm.
official law.
But at one
And
time
it's
you
a
was chief.
constitutional officer. Yeah.
Yeah, at one time you was chief. Then you
I was
went to the steps.
I was assistant chief.
Right.
I was assistant chief of Little Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that for 10 years.
Man.
10 years.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know you was at 10 for 10. I thought it was like 3 or 4 or 5 years. I didn't know it was 10
No.
years.
Wow.
I was assistant chief for 10 years, spent 30 years there total. Technically, I was chief
Right.
for 64 hours.
64 hours.
But you can put a notch on your belt for that.
Let me
64 hours.
tell you,
Yeah.
it counts to me because, like I told you, when I was a cadet,
He
I
said
said
he gonna
God
be
put on my heart
chief.
to be chief.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
That's right. Yeah.
I'll tell you, when I was going for the about 2 years before I retired, I knew in my heart that my season was coming to an end, and I was teaching a little bit at Arkansas Baptist College, and I knew I was going to leave. It just stayed in my heart. I was going to leave, and I struggled with that. I'm leaving. I'm not going to be chief. I'm leaving, and then the chief announced he was retiring, and so I applied for the job and I prayed about it. I said, Lord, if I get the job, I'm gonna stay, but if I don't get the job, I'm gonna leave. And it got down to 3 of us. It was myself, Chief Buckner, and another gentleman, chief out of Texas. And I was working late one evening. It was about 7:30. One night I was in the office by myself, and I was walking through the back hallway of the chief's office area, and there's all these pictures of the chiefs on the wall, former chiefs. And and I stopped and I looked at the pictures, and I was praying. I said, Lord, I don't want to be a picture on the wall. I said, Lord, I don't know what you're going to do, but I need you to bring some people around me. I need you to bring some churches around me, because we need to make a change in our community. We need to create hope. And I'm going to say, and hope comes from the Lord.
Come on, now you gonna start
and so
now. Right, hang on that.
so
There you go.
I'm praying this and just trusting in God.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. And I said, somebody's going to come back and they're going to say, what happened to Laura? What was the change? I said, we had a revival. That's what happened. So
Big revival.
right. So I didn't get the job. And the weekend, the Chiefs last day was on a Friday, and the new Chiefs get sworn in on Monday. I won't go into how God has a sense of humor about some things, but I found out that Wednesday before that, for a police officer, be chief, you're gonna have to be sworn in as a police officer. So to be sworn in, you need somebody to sign the document, and so it needs to be signed by the chief and the judge. But the chief has to sign you in to authorize you to be sworn in as a police officer. So that was going to happen Monday morning. So that weekend, I'm struggling with this. I joked about I was going to retire. I was going to do a letter, because I'm the chief. The memo comes out, says, or the email, that I will be the one to sign the paperwork, because I'll be the chief from 4:30 on 5 o'clock on Friday evening until 9 o'clock Monday morning. And so I joke about I'm gonna write a little memo on Saturday saying I'm resigning as chief of police. During my tenure, there's been no homicides and no officers killed, and put all this stuff out there. But then Sunday, I'm struggling with it. I'm praying. I'm talking to God. I said, God, how do I reconcile this? There's no doubt in my mind that you put on my heart 30 years ago to be chief. I am not. I'm at the point, I know I wasn't selected for chief, and I'm going to leave. So how do I reconcile this? And I said, the Lord said to me, Eric, I never said how long. So for 64 hours, I was chief of police of Little Rock Police Department. My picture is not on the wall.
They
And
want it on the wall.
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't about being on the wall.
Yep.
And so, and I know this, I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know where it was going to lead for me. I thought I was going to teach and do other stuff. But God gave me an opportunity to work with Paul Chapman and Paul Stevens to help people who are incarcerated, to try to help them have hope, to realize that just because you have a felony record doesn't define who you are. So, and if it wasn't for that, then when Judge Humphrey came to me and said, Eric, will you run for sheriff? And I said no initially. I said, I'm not running for sheriff. I'm not a politician. That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm done with law enforcement. And he kept on about it, and told me to pray about it, and talked to my wife about it, and we prayed about it. And my wife finally said, Eric, you like helping people. I've been volunteering with Exodus for 3.5 years.
You've been with the OK program too, haven't you?
Right. The OK program.
That's where I know you from. That's where I know you from. I used to see you there all the time.
Right. So My wife says, Eric, you like helping people. You can run the sheriff's department. You spent 30 years as a Little Rock police officer. You spent 10 years in the chief's office. You can do that. There's a detention center over there. I think God is trying to increase your area of influence. And she was right. And that's what we prayed. And when we decided, when I decided to do this, I knew God was going to give me the position because he's given me the opportunity to teach people, let the sheriff's department, we're not there yet, but to teach law enforcement, be an example, how we're supposed to police the street, to be community focused. Because we're part of the community, we need to be empowered by the community. It's safety driven. It's not about being arrest driven, about safety. What can we do to create a safe environment in our community? And integrity, to do what's right. So he's given me that opportunity to do that. And what I learned from Paul Chapman and Paul Stevens, to do a reentry program in the facility, help the men and women in our facility, to restore them to our community. What I thought was, I was gonna say, what I thought was Little Rock was God had something bigger for me.
That's right.
So I don't know how I got there, but I got there.
So that 64 hours did matter. It counted. And now you are developing a culture in a facility that is very much needed. So yeah. Well, and the link between what you're doing and EME, empowering our environment.
I wish I wouldn't have felt it. I come work for
Hey,
I would I lead that
I
city?
love it.
Man, if I can change it, buddy.
I lead the city of Little Rock.
Lead the city, go to the county.
I used to, I was a life coach when you worked with life
Paul,
coach with Paul Chapman and all. That's how we started getting like super close. I still remember you like, man, I ain't gonna be sheriff. I don't think I would do this. And I'm like, man, you're gonna be sheriff, bro. Quit tripping. We're gonna get you in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it always faith. Like I can really vouch for it. Like you didn't know you was gonna do nothing. It just popped up.
Well, I had no intentions of doing it, but once I made the decision, I knew God had a plan. Right. And either way, whether I got it or not, God was going to use me and teach me something through the process to help me be a better person.
Yeah.
So, see, that's what the officers missing. See, that's what everybody missing. What we talk about all the time, God, that's what they need. That make a difference. This man couldn't do the job he doing for one for God. That's how he know how to treat people. His background. So that's the foundation right there. God. That's it. That's how you learn to treat people.
And like you said, we all have that same connection with Paul. Paul Chapman, man, he the man. Paul Chapman connects people. Pete Chapman.
Wait, there you go over there.
You know how, Paul Chapman got a weapon, man, to the community from somewhere, man. He know how to get in that community from somewhere.
And everybody on this podcast connected to Paul Chapman.
Sure is.
Good guy, man. Good guy.
And the funny thing is, because I met you working for Paul.
Yeah.
With fellowship when you came, your family volunteered with our after school program. I've been doing with Passport to Success.
Yeah, we worked together. Yeah, and brought our family together for that. Yeah.
Chapman is
I'm just thankful that I'm meeting you here.
I know,
meet you back then. I was rough bucket. Just Lord. I'm in a position.
But he would have. But he would have treated you right.
It's been all right.
It's been all right. The program before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back then, with that,
like I said, I seen him a lot in the I seen his face, but didn't know he was from my neighborhood. Didn't know what type of guy.
Didn't know he was from the South.
I always thought you was a humble person. I could see that on you. You carried it. I didn't think.
Yeah, I knew.
You knew.
Guys,
yeah,
I knew too.
I told you on the phone. I said I know him like a mug, man. You was like,
yeah, I thought you knew him just from. I ain't know from the South End.
Yeah, I know his family.
Yeah.
All this info.
That's our sheriff.
And one thing about Sheriff Higgins and what he's doing with the reentry program is, like Sean just said, it's connected to EME because we're trying to do the similar, almost the exact same thing with brothers in the streets. With brothers that come from the gang culture, that brothers come from ex-felons. We're doing the same exact thing. We're building rapport with our community. We're letting them know that we're part of the hood, but now we're doing something better. We're trying to we're building businesses and opening up our businesses so that we can have employment for our neighborhoods, so our communities are self-sufficient. and that we
Right.
can buy and provide the black dollar for our own community without
Right.
outside help. We're doing all of these things that Sheriff Higgins are doing, but we're doing it on the business level. We're doing it on the entrepreneurship level. We're also doing it on the educational level. So
Yeah.
all in all the same aspect, and we are dealing with Paul Chapman. So it's going to connect. We're going to connect sooner or later. Sooner or later.
Hey, EME put some of them ideas down in the game too. So you all right?
I just said that, Coach. That's what I just said.
You all right?
That is the same thing.
No, it's not tied with the city. City
I
has their own reentry,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we try to partner with who we can. But I want to say something about Turtle real quick. I don't know if you remember this. I definitely remember this. I was at Arkansas Baptist and working on when I was working over there way before running for sheriff, and we were having a conversation about the community and people wanting. You said, what's the police gonna do in the community?
Right.
What are y'all doing for us?
Mm.
And you were emphasizing about things that you can do, tangible things in the community. And I told you, police can't do that. The police officer can't do that, but it takes the community to do something. But that stayed with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to know that as sheriff, I'm trying to do that.
Right.
Now we don't have the ability, while deputies may buy. I've seen this. They'll go to a call, and they'll see there's a food need in the home. They'll swing by, go to McDonald's, buy them something to eat, bring the food there, go to the grocery store and buy food. I've seen that happen. But we partner with AT&T Arkansas and the food bank, and we're hoping AT&T gets us a grant to pay for this, so we can continue this. But they give us what they call patrol packs, which is 3 days worth of non-perishable foods,
right,
put in the trunk of the car, so that when we come into the neighborhood and we see a need, we can meet a need tangibly. We're also trying to work with a city serve and the churches, because they have more items, maybe bedding or furniture or whatever. And so what we're trying to do is, when we see a need in the community, then we can contact city serve or church, so that we can make that connection. And it's to bring the tangible to the community. And the example I give is, if deputies going down the street, and Miss Jones, who's a grandmother, tells Deputy Smith that my refrigerator just went out. I'm taking care of my grandkids. I ain't got no money to buy a refrigerator. We contact Restore Hope or City Serve or a church, and they say, yeah, we got a refrigerator. And then we meet, the deputy meets the grandmother with the church, and they bring a refrigerator in the house. What that does for the grandmother, obviously, we're meeting a tangible need right there, but also what it does for the grandkids.
Right.
They may have seen that deputy make an arrest or write a ticket down the street, but they also see them helping the grandmother meet a tangible need. And so, Tara, I want you to know that's important to me,
right?
Because you identified that, and you told me that years ago, and I want you to know that didn't go away. That stayed with me, and looking for opportunities that we can meet that tangible need, so that people can see us beyond just making an arrest. That we're in the community, and if we're doing the job right, we're connecting. We have the partners. That's what we're trying to build, partners, so we can connect resources to people in the community, instead of us, like we normally do. We expect people to know where the resources are, and you figure out how to go get it.
Right.
Yeah, that's what
we need to bring resources. That's what we assume. We need to bring resources
to them,
to the community. Who better to do that than deputies who are in the community?
Right.
Or if we can get there, law enforcement, who are in the community, and you see things. Maybe you go to a call and it's a disturbance call, or somebody had something stolen from you, and you recognize that the family needs a bunk bed. They don't have enough beds for the kids.
Right.
Imagine we can contact a city serve and get some bunk beds delivered before DHS or somebody comes in and try to say that the parents don't care about the kids. That's not that they don't care about it. They ain't got no money.
Right.
Let's meet the
That's
need.
good. That's real.
But then that changes the attitude of the people in the community. That way, they're not afraid to, like you said, Matt, we don't want to call the police, because you think in the police, it's a negative thing. It's more of a positive thing, so it's developing that whole relationship between law enforcement and the community,
Right.
and
Right,
being
right.
able
Changing
to
the
build,
narrative.
Yeah.
It's
changing the narrative.
Right.
Because
Absolutely,
it's a negative, it's a negative narrative
it
there.
is.
It's a
That
negative
connotation
narrative that's been there for a long time.
For
So we
years,
have
yeah.
to
It's a
change it.
paradigm vibe.
Right. And
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have
EME,
to-
baby.
Everywhere.
That's what we
we
do.
have to, we have to change it.
Mhm.
Listen, being a police officer, we're gonna understand this. Being a police officer or a deputy, sure, being in law enforcement, it's 90% social work.
Right.
Wow.
You're a counselor.
Yeah.
When there's a family disturbance, you're going there to counsel with them.
Mhm.
If somebody's had the house broken into, I'm giving you advice about what you can do to secure your facility, what
Mhm.
information I need, what the next steps is. I'm giving you advice about it. You have an accident, I'm giving you advice about contacting the insurance company, what steps to take. This is what's going to happen. You know, if you're upset, you had an accident, you try to help people understand, hey, it's an accident. It's what we call an accident. If they did it on purpose, it's assault and battery. Yeah? It's a different charge.
Right.
But
Right.
we're dealing with an accident, and
Right.
people make mistakes. And so you try to de-escalate the situation, try to
Right.
calm
Yeah.
people down to make the best of the situation that
Right.
they're in. You're doing death notifications. There's tragic things
Mhm.
happen, you know, and you're counseling people.
Wow.
And then yeah, 10% of the time you make an arrest and you're writing tickets.
Right.
And yes, it can be an extremely dangerous job, but most people in the community, and I know this and y'all know this, that most people will do what I ask them to do,
Mhm.
even if you don't like me as a police officer.
Mm.
And most people will not try to hurt me as a police
Mhm.
officer. Most people will do what I ask.
Mhm.
And so there are dangers in the job. Don't get me wrong. People will try to hurt you. But if we do our job right, if I respect you, it has a significant impact on the community. And we have so many people that want to help our community.
Right.
They're getting into social work. They're
Mhm.
working at DHS. They're working for all these organizations to help the community.
Mhm.
And what I'm
You got
hoping
in
to
the
get out
business to help.
is that that's what law enforcement is.
Yeah.
Yeah, every once in a while we make arrests and we write tickets. We do that. But
But it's,
the main part is helping people who are in tragic situations or difficult situations.
It's being sure. It's being sure of something that you got in and it lasts, or it got a term to it, or is it anything like
So
that? Like
so there's
how it
it's a 4-year term. So
like the president.
yeah, but I can, unlike the president, there's no term limit.
Okay.
So
Okay. You can
I
keep
can be
you can keep going
elected.
up for election.
I can keep
election.
going.
Keep going on
Right.
and on and on.
Right. So, you know, if the Lord's willing and the people in the community in Pulaski County feel like I'm doing a decent job, they'll vote for me
yeah.
next year. And so I'll be reelected and get to continue the programs I'm trying to do and hopefully do more.
And
So
you
it's
will.
4 years, an election, 4 years, an election.
Right.
So
You
when
can
is
keep-
this one coming up? When
So
do you get-
so I'm you know, the election is going on as far as the campaigning is going on now.
campaign is now.
So
Okay.
in March it'll be when I'll actually file. You have to file for if you're running for a political office, you have to file. There's a filing deadline. So the
Mhm.
deadline will be in March.
Mhm.
The primary will be in May. So I'm running as a Democrat. I don't know if anybody's going to run as a Democrat against me. I don't know if anybody's going to run as a Republican against me.
Right.
So if I don't have an opponent, then after May, I'll be reelected and I'll move forward, because if I don't have an opponent, my name will be on the ballot. I have to still register
Down the ballot.
to be on the ballot,
Right.
and then I'll continue. If I have a Republican opponent, then I'll go through all the way to November, and then there'll be election in November, and both our names will be on the general election ballot, and people get to decide who they want to be the sheriff of Pulaski County.
So next May they also having a governor election, right? Next May.
Right, May it'll be May and then again in November. So
Mhm.
May is the
Okay.
primary. So like for governor, you have a couple people running as Republicans and you have a couple people running as Democrats. So in the primary in May, that's when the Democratic candidate and the Republican candidate will be selected
For November vote.
for the November election. So
November,
during
okay.
yeah, so during the primary, when you go to vote in the primary, you're voting as a Democrat. You have to tell them I'm voting as a Democrat or or a Republican, because you get a different ballot. So, Republicans on the Republican ballot, Democrats on the Democratic ballot. But then when you have the general election, it's everybody. You don't have to say I'm going as a Democrat or voting as Democrat, Republican. You just get the general election ballot, and you get to vote for whoever's on the ballot. Now, caveat: if I'm running as an independent, you have to get so many votes. I mean, so you have to have a signature. What do you call it? You have to do a signature campaign, get enough elected officials, elected, or people who can vote.
Independent.
If you're going independent, and you have to have so many.
Kanye West did.
Yeah,
when he voted.
So you have to get enough
people. He went as independent.
Right.
You know about that, don't you?
When you
Did you vote?
Yeah. I told you I only voted for two people. I voted for you and Kanye West. That's it.
Well, I don't know if Kanye is running another election, but I am. So I
had to show love, man.
You're doing a great job, Sheriff.
Man, you is.
Yes,
Well, I
You're
appreciate
doing
it.
some great work.
You're doing a
Doing
magnificent
a heart
job.
for the works.
Yes, you do.
EME proud of
And
you.
it makes a big
appreciate
difference to have a heart for the work
That
you do.
is a big difference.
And what we do understand is if somebody do run against you, we want our people to know that I picked you because I know you care, you genuine, you know what I'm saying?
Woo.
From the neighborhood, so you're not made up. You're not no made up character. You're somebody from the neighborhood. You know what I'm
Down
saying?
to earth, you down to
Our
earth.
heroes.
He fit for the job.
We shooting for you.
Appreciate it.
If they need to know the reason why, just go back and watch this podcast.
There you go.
He gonna
You know
tell
what
you.
time it is.
You got a good family, everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate y'all.
Great
Y'all
man.
pray for
Shout
me.
out to
Keep
you.
We're
praying.
gonna pray before we close this podcast.
All right,
Right.
preacher.
Anyone else? I got anything else y'all want to
Appreciate
discuss
that.
before we get off here?
Man, I just want to tell Sheriff
Pump it
Higgins,
up.
man, that I just want to tell Sheriff Higgins, man, that we are very happy that you graced us on our podcast, because
Right.
Appreciate it.
we really think that our podcast can make a difference. We really think EME can make a difference, and with people like you behind us and endorsing us, we can go even further. So we really appreciate that, because we try to touch more to the people in the streets that we can relate to a lot. People that have been through
That's
what
what's
we
up.
do, the felons, the guys who've been involved with gangs, been to prison. We involve ourselves with the streets on purpose, because we can
Right.
relate to them and they can relate to us.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
that's why we stick our necks out to make sure and go that extra mile for them. We like that representative, you know what I mean? So that's what we're trying to do. So like it's like them talking to us, talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
the everyday Joe is us, and we're using our voice to talk to you to get out the important issues and important questions. And we appreciate you coming on here and addressing that and being that dude like that, Sheriff. You, woo, woo, woo.
The police
I appreciate it. I appreciate
When I
it.
notice when the police kind of know you a little bit, they ain't gonna be too pushed to be mean to you like that. You know what I'm
they
saying?
not.
So the
Right.
connection the more that you get involved in your community, the more us as people will get to know each other, and we feel like, okay, you ain't no threat, we ain't no threat.
Right.
Now you can tell me to take your butt home, Turtle. Man, what is you
Yep.
doing out here? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yep.
You can't tell me.
I
that.
listen
build a
to you.
relationship,
I
You know what I'm
listen.
saying?
Yep.
Build a
Yeah, I feel like,
relationship.
who is this guy? Is he
Right.
an infiltrator or what? You know what I mean?
Right.
But you not, you know what I'm saying? You know us. I'm just saying, you know us, you not, you know what I'm saying? You can tell me, hey, get your butt home. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And what are you doing? You can get me on the right track.
It's
You know what I'm
about
saying?
relationship.
It's called building a rapport. It's called building a rapport with the
Relationship
streets.
is
That's
important.
what you do. That's what we have to
Yeah.
do. We have to build a connection and make sure it's solid enough where we can talk to each other as friends and address situations that's going on in our community and
Right.
bring solutions
right.
to the table. That's what we
Right.
want to do.
All right.
These
Right.
guys genuine. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Y'all real genuine. That's why we was able to let y'all in like that. And y'all was able to let us in. You know what I'm saying? So y'all been here a while, man. Yeah, we like what y'all doing, man. We vote for y'all. Keep
Appreciate
going,
it.
man. We appreciate Restore Hope. We appreciate Exit Program, 100 Families, man. We appreciate Shonda come hosting the show today.
Woo, woo,
Woo,
son.
Thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all for
You
having me.
gave,
I'm honored. I'm honored.
you gave us 2 good shows, 3.
Like your
3 good
50th time on
shows.
our show.
Shonda gave
Thanks.
us 3 good shows. Every time she come to the show, she turned it up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? She was one of our
Already.
first guests.
Mm.
One
She
of
was
our
our
first.
first guest.
Your first.
Well,
I
You know what I'm
was the first
saying?
guest for the EME.
Well, I had
Yeah.
Jason. I think I had
give
Jason.
you
I
a
think
plaque.
Jason was
Yeah.
one
he
of them.
deserves one.
You do.
You deserve
You
one.
do.
We're gonna get that.
Nah,
together.
y'all.
Look at your
think
plaque.
all
Look
of
at your
us should
plaque
do
right here.
this.
Look at
Yeah,
your
yeah.
plaque.
Paul,
Hey, EME, no, we recognize the people, man. We a lot of people first to podcasts and everything. We recognize the people, man. Shout out
Yeah,
to
we put
EME.
people out there.
Shout out to
We put
EME.
people out
That's
there,
what's
man.
up.
We the plug. Turk me dirt, man. Appreciate this opportunity. Turk me dirt, bouncer.
Man, we do all good, man. I'm gonna stay down. You know what I'm saying? I'm going through a good learning process. You know what I mean? Like I said, I went through the Exodus program. I went through the Restore Hope program. I done been through it all. Them people done counseled me through everything. And you done counseled me. You know what I'm saying? Miss Fitzhill done counseled me. You know, all us work together in a thing. I didn't think I could even be a counselor. I sat there for a longest, like, man, I can't do this. I can't do this. You know what I mean? And they boost me on, like, man, you can do it. You can do it. And then once I seen that my people accepting me doing it, you know what I mean? Then I seen y'all accepting me doing it. I said, okay, I can bring this to the neighborhood. I can really make this bridge. You know what I mean? So I don't get no negativity about me working with y'all. I don't get none of that because everybody know who I am. Everybody know what's going on. So you take that kind of power and you connect it to the street, and then it shows. It gets on out. So, you know, we winning. You know what I mean? And that's where we Restore Hope and everybody brought to the table. You know what I mean? We thank y'all.
Thank you.
We bridging gaps, man. We bridging gaps.
Have prayer.
Preacher King James.
Come on, King James.
One thing about him, he is ready to say that prayer.
Look at that. Look at that. Let's just bow our heads. We had a good night, dog. Thank you again. Thank you again. Bow your heads for a word of prayer. Father God, we come to you first and foremost. Just want to say thank you for another beautiful day you have allowed us all to see. God, I just want to take this time out to pray for the sheriff, God. He's doing great things in the community. I ask you continue to watch over him and his family, continue to give him the desires of his heart, God. Continue to elevate him, God, in the way that he should go, God. Continue to let him set an example right where he is, God, to other police officers. Let his beautiful spirit rub off on them where they'll know how to treat people in the community. Therefore, we'll know how to react to them, God. I just ask that you touch right now, God, by your spirit, because nobody can do it but you. And God, continue to bless us to be the men that we need to be so that we can help other men and women grow and make a change right here in our cities and cities all over, God. We thank you and we praise you for this day. In your most holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And I want to say we got an EME cash app now too. I'm gonna put that out. Hold on, I gotta get that out. We got an EME cash out for donations. Money sign EME 3131. Money sign EME 3131. Y'all want to donate anything to EME podcast, man? Be voice to the street. Hit us up on the cash app. Hit us up on the Facebook.
Help us help y'all. Help us help y'all. You feel me?
And we out.
And we out.
Another dope episode of EME, baby.